欢迎来到东南亚。
The four families of Kokang. This refers to the four Kokang families that wielded control over politics, the economy, and the military in the northern Myanmar region from 2009 to 2023. The Bai Suocheng family, the Wei Chaoren family, and the Liu Guoxi family were all under the leadership of Peng Jiasheng, the chairman of the government of Shan State Special Region 1 of Myanmar, formerly known as the King of Kokang. While the Liu Guoxi family was not initially part of the MNDAA, they rose to become one of the region's wealthiest and one of the four major families. In 2009, they betrayed Peng Jiasheng and aligned with the Myanmar military government to expel Peng Jiasheng's MNDAA from Kokang. With the backing of the Myanmar military government, they controlled the Kokang area, overseeing various illicit activities such as gambling, drug trade, and electronic fraud. Following the 2010 election and Bai Suocheng's assumption of the chairman position in Kokang, the region transformed into a bustling casino city, attracting Chinese gamblers due to China's prohibition on gambling within its borders. Ming Xuechang, another member of Peng Jiasheng, rose to prominence after betraying him. Initially working under Bai Suocheng, Ming Xuechang later emerged as a significant figure outside the four major families. The Ming Xuechang family is often mentioned in comparison to the four major families, sometimes even being collectively referred to as the five major families. These families frequently compete for control in various illicit enterprises, effectively operating as the mafia of Kokang while generally maintaining a balance of power. However, this equilibrium was disrupted by the 1020 incident on October 20, 2023. Cyber fraud operations. Telefraud stands as a primary revenue stream for the four major families, yielding substantial profits but also generating a significant conflict with China. Operating predominantly with members of Chinese nationality, these fraudulent groups employ diverse tactics, targeting victims in China through phone calls, online platforms, or social media. Initially lured with promises of high salaries or other incentives, recruits quickly find themselves trapped upon arrival in Kokang, subjected to stringent surveillance and unable to freely contact the outside world. Any attempt to escape or resist is met with severe punishment, including the threat of death. Originally, illegal online gambling, casinos, and cyber fraud hubs sprawled across Cambodia and Myanmar. However, pressure from the Chinese government prompted Cambodia to crack down on these illicit activities in 2019 and 2020. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, many such establishments pivoted towards cyber fraud. Subsequently, tens of thousands of Chinese nationals migrated to Kokang and Wa regions, where cyber fraud operations flourished. Following Myanmar's 2021 military coup, Northern Shan emerged as a haven for cyber fraud centers. Initially, despite outcry from Chinese families on social media, China authorities chose to remain passive regarding telefraud. Attempts to pressure the Myanmar Military Council government proved futile, as the council either ignored the issue or potentially harbored involvement in cyber fraud activities themselves. Perceiving it as a minor concern, the Military Council prioritized addressing the growing resistance movements across Myanmar. The influence of China. China's new approach involves supporting both the military and influential ethnic armed organizations (EAOs), challenging pro-democracy groups as it encourages EAOs to distance themselves from what China sees as Western-backed movements. On the other hand, the U.S. has been providing shelter to leaders of Myanmar's exile government, the National Unity Government, NUG. Organizations like the Free Burma Rangers, led by former U.S. Special Forces officer Dave Eubank, have actively aided groups like the Karen National Union (KNU) and Karenni Nationalities Defense Force (KNDF) since the coup began.
15 wounded and 2 dead. Burma Army Karenni attack, fighting each other up here just north of Bazao. Medics did a great job, thank God for them. And thanks for praying for these people.
In 2022, the U.S. Congress passed the Burma Act.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of H.R. 5497, the Burma Act, which would provide badly needed resources to civil society actors in Burma and impose sanctions on the Burmese military for upending years of progress, democracy, and human rights for a self-serving and brutal agenda of repression and violence.
The U.S. has steered clear of direct involvement in armed conflicts to avoid tensions with China and escalation in the region. Following the military coup on February 1, 2021, China initially treaded cautiously, avoiding alienating either the military or the NLD, with whom it had committed to collaborative infrastructure projects under the China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. However, as public concern grew over China's perceived support for the military's crackdown, anti-China sentiment surged. In response, China exerted pressure on the Military Council, EAOs, and the NUG to safeguard its economic interests in Myanmar. By mid-2021, China's stance shifted, favoring the Military Council, evident in high-level interactions between Chinese officials and military junta representatives. Recognizing the importance of Chinese support, Myanmar's military leaders sought to appease China. Coup leader Min Aung Hlaing pursued increased Chinese backing, even offering concessions like resuming controversial projects such as the Myeson Dam in Kachin State. However, China hesitated to deepen ties with the Military Council due to its tarnished image from airstrikes and indiscriminate attacks on civilians. Consequently, the Military Council sought closer relations with Russia, although Russia maintained just a transactional relationship between the two countries. Myanmar's strategic position along the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, makes it essential for regional connectivity. Yet infrastructure projects like the Ka-Ladan Road Project of India and the BRI itself faced delays due to escalating conflicts within Myanmar. As the AA expanded its territory in Rakhine and conducted operations alongside groups like the MNDAA and the TNLA, China acknowledged the AA's significance, necessitating engagement. In November 2020, the AA declared a ceasefire with the military. Meanwhile, during the military coup, the Three Brotherhood, comprising the AA, TNLA, and MNDAA, maintained a relatively passive stance, except for sporadic clashes with the Restoration Council of Shan State, RCSS, and military council forces in northern Shan State. This cautious approach drew criticism from Myanmar's online community, accusing the Three Brotherhood alliance of opportunism and cowardice amid widespread resistance against the Military Council. Despite their subdued stance, the AA, TNLA, and MNDAA covertly strengthened their ranks and amassed arms since 2019. While China observed these developments, it pressed the groups to refrain from escalating conflicts near the Chinese border and instead encouraged them to engage in negotiations with the Military Council. The Counterbalance Game. In December 2022, two significant international events happened. Firstly, a United Nations Security Council UNSC resolution was introduced, with China softening its stance, opting not to exercise its usual veto power. Secondly, the U.S. passed the Burma Act as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, signaling its intent to provide non-lethal support to both EAOs and People's Defense Forces, PDFs. With the Military Council's weakening, China adjusted its strategy accordingly. By late December 2022, China promptly dispatched a new envoy specializing in Asian affairs to Myanmar. This envoy engaged with influential northern EAOs before meeting with the Military Council, urging the Three Brotherhood alliance to reach an agreement with the Military Council and decrease interactions with the NUG and other stakeholders in the ongoing uprising. Since 2023 May, China has clearly conveyed to Myanmar's generals that harboring forced labor scam syndicates will not be tolerated. Beijing demanded that the military rein in its border guard forces, BGFs, involved in these scams. However, the junta ignored these demands, allowing BGFs in Karen State to escalate criminal activities on the Thai border, and the BGF in Kokang to intensify operations near China's borders. During the summer of 2023, China escalated its response by authorizing its media and film industry to depict the turmoil in Myanmar through Chinese local movies. These films collectively grossed over $1 billion, conveying the idea that Chinese nationals could only be safe in Southeast Asia with China's support.
ဒီမြန်မာနိုင်ငံမြောက်ပိုင်းအခြေအနေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ရင်နိုင်ငံတကာမီဒီယာတွေမှာဖော်ပြတာတွေကတော်တော်မှားနေတဲ့သတင်းတွေအများစုပါပါတယ်တချို့ကသေးသေးဖွားဖွားဖြစ်တဲ့ဖြစ်စဉ်ကိုအကြီးဖြစ်အောင်ပုံကြီးချဲ့ပြီးတော့ဒီထုတ်လွှင့်နေတဲ့မီဒီယာတွေလည်းရှိပါတယ်အဓိကကတော့ဒီမြန်မာနိုင်ငံလက်ရှိအစိုးရအပေါ်မှာဆန့်ကျင်တဲ့အဖွဲ့အစည်းတွေရဲ့သတင်းအရင်းမြစ်တွေကနေပြီးတော့မှထုတ်ပြန်နေတဲ့သတင်းတွေကိုနိုင်ငံတကာထပ်မံပြီးတော့မှထပ်ဆင့်ထုတ်လွှင့်နေတာဖြစ်တယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့တိုင်းပြည်ရဲ့မြောက်ပိုင်းအခြေအနေကနိုင်ငံတကာသတင်းမီဒီယာတွေမှာပါတယ်လို့ဆိုရတဲ့အခြေအနေမဟုတ်ပါဘူးအားလုံးကကျွန်တော်တို့ကအနေရကင်းစွာနဲ့လုံလုံခြုံခြုံနဲ့တနေရာတွာလာနိုင်နေတယ်သို့တော်လည်းပဲရန်ပန်းရက်ကတိုင်းသားလက်နက်ကင်အဖွဲ့အစည်းတွေနဲ့ဒီတိုက်ပွဲဖြစ်ပွားတဲ့ဖြစ်စဉ်တချို့တော့ရှိပါတယ်ဒါလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီလက်ရှိနိုင်ငံတော်အစိုးရအနေနဲ့ဒီကျွန်တော်တို့သွားခြင်းတဲ့တိုင်းသားများနဲ့ဒီငြိမ်းချမ်းရေးလုပ်ငန်းစဉ်ကိုဆက်လက်အောင်မြင်အောင်တွားဖို့ဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်သဘောထားကြီးစိတ်ရှိနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဆောင်ရွက်တွားနေတဲ့အနေအထားဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ဒါမှမဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်တို့မြောက်ပိုင်းနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အနေအထားကကျွန်တော်တို့ရှိမှလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီဝန်ထမ်းတွေလည်းဒီတွားလာနေတာဘာမှခက်ခဲပြဿနာမရှိပါဘူး။ဒါမှမဟုတ်နိုင်ငံတကာမီဒီယာတွေရဲ့ချက်ကားထုတ်လွှင့်မှုလို့ပဲကျွန်တော်အနေနဲ့ပြောလိုပါတယ်။ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဆိုရတော့လို့လည်းတော့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံကိုတကယ်လာရောက်ပြီးတော့ကြည့်လို့ရှိရင်တကယ်အမှန်တရားကဘာလဲဆိုတာကိုသိသွားမှာ
Frustrated by the military council's inaction, China took unilateral action in September, targeting two autonomous border enclaves, the Hua and Mongla areas in northern Shan State. Leveraging its influence, China compelled these regions to crack down on scam operations. It pressured the Hua by issuing arrest warrants for top Hua officials, leading to raids on numerous scam compounds, the arrest of thousands, and the sharing of valuable intelligence with China. However, the military council remained indifferent to China's signals. Despite China's attempts to entice Kokang elites with a folk festival in September, resulting in the detention of 11 individuals, including members of 4 Kokang families, the junta persisted. By mid-October, only 377 hostages out of an estimated 30,000 held in over 100 scam compounds had been released, disappointing China. As a result, China shifted its focus to the MNDAA, which aimed to reclaim lost territory with the assistance of its allies, TNLA and AA, planning a coordinated attack on military border posts in northern Shan State. According to Tuan Myat Nai, the commander-in-chief of the AA, this operation had been in preparation for 5 years. The three Brotherhood alliances' combined strength exceeded 15,000 in northern Shan State, with hundreds of PDF troops trained by AA, TNLA and MNDAA eager to join the attack. The only deterrent from attacking within the China border region was China. 1020 incident. As cyber scam operations flourished in the Kokang region, hundreds of Chinese citizens found themselves ensnared in the Crouching Tiger Villa cyber scam park, controlled by the Ming Xuechang family. Ming Xuechang's significant political influence, derived from his prior membership in the Shan parliament and his position as vice chairman in the Kokang region, shielded the Ming family's illegal activities. This established the Crouching Tiger Villa as northern Myanmar's largest telefraud compound. Under mounting pressure from China, on October 20, 2023, the Ming family relocated scam workers from the Crouching Tiger Villa to another site using trucks. However, during this transfer, Chinese citizens trapped in the park attempted to escape with the assistance of undercover Chinese police officers. Despite the officers revealing their identities, the Ming family ordered gunfire, resulting in conflicting reports of casualties, including up to 4 Chinese undercover police officers and approximately 80 Chinese and Thai citizens. This event, known as the 1020 incident, served as the catalyst for Operation 1027. The murder of their agents and the outcry from Chinese netizens prompted furious Chinese authorities to withdraw its restraint over the Three Brotherhood alliance, leading to escalated conflicts in the northern Shan region.
一天没有为自己的所作所为付出代价。
On October 27, 2023, the Three Brotherhood alliance initiated Operation 1027.